welcome back to another deck profile on the channel. I know I've made a couple videos about this leader and about this deck, but I just really love this deck. I've been playing it for over a month now. I want to say about coming on 2 months. It's been really fun. I've done really well at all my locals, and I've really just kind of been like figuring out like what's really the best version to play as I've been playing against multiple different people, multiple different decks, you know, like Zamasu, Kidku, Vegex, stuff like that. And trying to really just getting to figure out like what's the most optimal build here. Now I'm not saying I have the most optimal build, but this I feel like is the most optimal build for me and my play style, and along with like the budget that I have currently. So let's go ahead and get into this. This leader is the Broly Surge leader. For those who guys do not know, we'll go over his effects just in case anybody hasn't seen the previous videos. His auto on the front side is once per turn on either player's turn. Whenever you combo with a red or a green card, you draw one. So that's really good. So you want to play a lot of cards that give you extra draws when you combo with them in this deck, which you'll see I do have a few that really like help pump out some draws. So this deck does have decent draw power on the front side. I'm not going to say it's a lot of draw power. Like I said, I've added a couple cards in here to help with that, because what really happens is once you awaken, as with all Surge leaders, once you awaken, you really stop gaining draw power. So you really want to stall your awakening as much as possible and awaken only when you really have to, when you're either going in for the kill or when you're trying to defend yourself. So then you awaken Surge anytime. You can awaken Surge anytime you want. However, his effects on the backside only activate when you're at 3 life. You can put 1 red, 1 green card underneath this, draw 2, untap 2, and flip it over. And then on the back side, his effects are like I said, once you're at 3 or less life, you can activate the effects. You can either combo with a card from your drop area and then give this card double strike, which is really good for going for game, or really good for defense as well if you don't want to use the secondary effect, which is to take a card from underneath the card and choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and kill it. So you can kill anything on the defensive step or the offensive step with his leader ability, which is really good. I use this quite a lot against like Sin Shenron, getting rid of like one of their big blockers during the battle step so that I could go in for game right after that. Obviously you can't get rid of their secret rare. However, I've also used this other effect to kind of like defend myself, you know, combo from the drop area and then try to drop some more combo to see if I can survive a swing. So I love this leader a lot of versatility. I tried playing this deck with the Clash Coup leader. You definitely drew a lot more cards in the Clash Coup leader. However, the utility was a lot lower because, you know, like I said, you can literally just pop 2 battle cards ignoring barrier with this leader effect. You know, it's really strong. So yeah, this leader is amazing. But like I said, you don't really draw any cards on the backside. So that's really what the deck is all about. So let's go ahead and get into the extra cards first, because there's really not many of them. We're playing 3 Dormant Legend because we are playing the Goten, so we do have to play Dormant Legend. 2 After Image Technique and 2 Shocking Death Ball for our negates. You are playing a red-green leader, so you can play After Image and Shocking. And I really like these cards a lot. They're really good negates. I really wish we could play Dimension Magic, obviously, but you know, it's not a blue leader. I think that's the best negate in the game. But these are really good negates either way. I wasn't running them at first. At first, I just had Topo in here. But I've realized like you kind of do need to have these negates in there at least, just because Shock and Death Ball can pop something 2 or less after you negate, and then After Image Technique minuses something by 10, so it can really help you clear board in the early stages of the game if you have them. So that's it for the extra cards. Next, let's go ahead and get into the monsters of the deck. That's pretty much the entire deck here. Let's go ahead and start with our Unison of choice. We have the Sin Shenron Unison. Now I know in a couple other deck profiles I was playing the Jiren Unison instead. However, the problem is that in the most recent tournament, the Jiren Unison was ruled to where his Activate Battle only works on your turn, not on your opponent's, which makes him significantly worse, in my opinion, if that's the case. I do believe the ruling will be overturned because there's no reason for it to be that way. But I'm going off of the assumption that it won't, and I'm just kind of trusting the judges on this one. So this is why I've chosen this Unison. And honestly, I was playing the Sin Shenron Unison and the Jiren Unison in the deck at the same time, or at a 3-2 split, just in case I needed to see the Jiren Unison. But honestly, once Shenron was out, I never needed to get rid of him, because Shenron's ability, his permanent says all your red cards, including your leader and your Unison, can attack battle cards in active mode. So you're able to clear board, no problem. His +1 is to choose 2 cards ignoring barrier, sorry, not ignoring barrier, choose 2 cards, give them -15k. Again, you're clearing board really well and giving him markers. And then his -2 lets you look at your opponent's hand and choose a battle card with 25k or less and rip it out. seeing that in your opponent, like seeing your opponent's hand and ripping out a card for basically nothing every turn is really, really strong. Especially when you're going in for like your big bombs, or if you're about to play Secret Rare or anything like that, you can look at your opponent's hand and rip out a counterplay. If you're playing against blue, you can rip out that Trunks counterplay. If you're playing against green, you can rip out the Frieza. You can take something out, one of those counterplays out, or you just take out like a Topo or something like that as well. So his effect is really, really strong. I love this unison a lot. I really think he's definitely right now better than Jiren. Next, let's go ahead and get into our 1-drops. We're playing 3 Self-Awakener Kabbas. Double Strike is really good right now against Unison, so I would recommend you playing the Kabbas, not the Trunkses, just because Double Strike kind of just goes a lot further, against Unisons, putting pressure on your leader, all that kind of stuff. You don't really need to play this very often, like I said, because you don't want to turbo your Awakening. It's just in here for the extra pressure if I need to, and if I'm breaking and I need to awaken if my opponent isn't swinging at me or whatever. So that's why he's in here. Next, the Chi-Chi. This is the card I was talking about for helping you combo. Whenever you have 2 multicolor cards in your energy, they have to be red-green. Whenever you combo with her, you draw an extra card. So on your front side, whenever you combo with the Chi-Chi once per turn, you draw 2 cards instead of 1. So you just drop 1, draw 2. Fantastic card, honestly. And then if you have multiple of these in your hand, you can on your turn combo with her, draw 2, drop 1, and then draw 2. And then on your opponent's turn, you can use her again, draw 2 again. So you're just really gonna keep going through your deck and keep getting on a hand advantage. Then we're playing 2 of the Broly promos, Crown of Retribution. The reprints, obviously, because I don't have money for those, but this card is pretty good. You don't see him. I don't ever see the opportunity to play him very often. I think I've only played him like maybe once or twice, but I didn't want to take him out of the deck completely. I actually replaced Jiren with him. I didn't want to take him out of the deck completely because I feel like if I can pull off the Sin Shenron looking at your hand, rip out a 25k, and then pull off the Broly, where I look at your hand and rip out a 20k. That's 2 cards out of your opponent's hand for basically 1 energy because Sin Shenron's already on the board at that point. That's pretty good in my opinion. The problem is that he requires your opponent to have 2 open energy, and it doesn't come up very often. And there's also going to be times where like you'd rather spend that 1 energy getting an actual threat on board, like Gogeta or something along those lines, rather than just ripping a card out of your opponent's hand. So he's here so that I can use him if I need to. I wouldn't want to take him out completely, but yeah, that's why I'm only running 2, just because it doesn't really come up very often. Next, let's go ahead and get into our 2-drops. We have, this is probably one of the best cards in the deck in my opinion, the 2-drop Broly Unforeseen Force. This is definitely one of the MVPs of the deck. This card is like basically the Goku Black equivalent, the blue-yellow Goku Black equivalent, where you tap 2 energy. It has to be 2 green energy. If you have a red-green multicolor energy in your energy area, you can, at the end of your turn, draw 2 cards, drop 1 card, and then choose to any amount of battle cards your opponent has that adds up to the energy cost of 3 and KO them. This card alone pretty much just destroys Kid Ku. This entire deck destroys Kid Ku, but this card alone really just messes with them entirely because all their entire deck is 1-drops. So you get to literally kill 3 1-drops on board, and then you drew 2 cards and dropped 1. And then that happens at the end of your turn. So even if as long as your opponent doesn't like Denial of Hope or something along those lines to the card, even if they get rid of it in your turn, it doesn't matter because your effect still, once the card hits the board, the effect is still going to go happen at the end of your turn. Plus it means a 15k body on the board. So honestly, one of the biggest MVPs of the deck. You really want to see this guy by turn 2, so you can just play him immediately. And then if you have a Chi-Chi in your hand, you can play this guy, swing, combo with Chi-Chi, draw 2 cards. At the end of your turn, you draw another 2 cards. That's amazing hand advantage. Next, we're going to be playing 4 Gotens. I'm going to let you know right now, we're not playing the Brolys because I honestly just really have not seen a need for them. They'd be in my hand, or maybe Dormant Legend wasn't able to get in the drop area, and then Broly was a dead card in my hand. I really just don't think they're good right now. Obviously, the choosing 2 cards, ignoring barrier, getting a minus 15k when he comes in, very strong. The fact that you can rip a card out of your combo area, your opponent's combo area, very strong. The problem is it costs 2 energy to do that, and whenever I have the opportunity to do so, I would rather just either leave that 2 energy open to be able to topo next turn, and then go in for the kill the turn after that, or I'd rather just play like another battle card, like a Gogeta or a Beerus and Champa or something like that, or a Kaioken even, the 2-drop, the 4-drop Kaioken I'm playing in here, which is a dual attack double strike rather than just the 30k body. So I took him out completely just because he was honestly a dead card a lot of the times in my hand, and there was just no point, and I don't want to play any dead cards in my deck. So the Go-10, really, really strong still, so I did keep him in here along with the Dormant Legend because, I mean, it's a free 10k as long as you have Dormant Legends that untaps an energy and stuff like that. A really cool play that you can do is if you still have Dormant Legends in the deck, you can swing with lead and then choose the Go-10 super combo out of your drop area, combo with it, rip a Dormant Legend out of your deck to your drop area and untap an energy for free. So that's really, really strong. So yeah, I really like the Go-10 a lot. And if you have 5 or less cards in hand, you get to draw a card. So you basically get to draw 2 when you do this opening turn. So really, really strong. Next, 4 Nappa super combos. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't know if I'm going to be running the new super combo that's coming out in set 11, the draw 2, drop 1. I think I will, because it is a very good card. Like, you know, you're drawing 3 basically with your leader effect. So very, very strong. But if I did, I would be doing a 2-2 split. I wouldn't get rid of Nappa because Nappa is a double super combo. You combo with him, do your thing, and then he comes into play after you combo with him from your hand. So you basically get to use him twice. Very, very strong. Check land, obviously it's just a check land. Sometimes I actually have played him every once in a while because whenever you play him, your opponent chooses a card in their hand and they drop it. So I have played him every once in a while, but he's just a check land. Yamcha counterplay, really, really strong. In this deck, especially if Shin Shenron's on the board, because that's the only time you can use him for free. But Shin Shenron being able to -2 things by 15k on your turn, and then on your opponent's turn when they play something, you can just Yamcha counterplay and stop it from being played. Really, 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 really strong. Next, 3 Topo. You can run 4 Topo. I think 3 is enough for me. Personally, I see him every game, and you really only need to see like 1 Topo, if that makes sense. Your kill turn in this deck is about turn 5. So turn 4, you just Topo, your opponent, their turn is over, and then turn 5, that's when you kind of go in for the kill. Next, we're playing 2 Beerus and Champa. Beerus and Champa is good. I think they've gotten a little bit worse. Being able to give something 6 or less double strike, there's not really that many targets in this deck for it, because like I said, I took out the Broly's. But their ability to kill something 20k or less is very strong, and the fact that there's just a 20k body that comes in for 1 energy, that's one of the reasons why I'm still playing them in the deck, because you know it's a 20k body that comes in for 1. 2 Kaiokens. I really do love this card. It really works well with the Broly deck. You know, like I said, you have to be at 3 life for his effect to activate. So the fact that you can play the Kaioken for 2, take a life, and then if your life is at 3 or less, Kaioken gains double strike, dual attack, and then now your leader ability is activated. So the synergy just works really well with the deck. That's why I do love him a lot. 20k double strike, dual attack is nothing to sneeze at. Then I'm playing 2 Infernal Villainy Cells. You know, like I said, whenever you combo with a green or red card on your front side, you draw 1. Cell is a tap 1 10k that lets you draw a card. So on your front side, you're basically tapping 1 to draw 2, and you get a plus 10k boost on the defensive step or the offensive step. So really, really strong. A really good, really nice play you can do is if you have a Cell and a Kaba on board, you can swing with Kaba and give him that Cell boost, and now he's a 25k double strike, and you just drew 2 cards. Really, really, really strong. Next, one of the other MVPs of the deck, the Gogeta Arrival. Honestly, Gogeta Arrival is amazing. A 1-drop, a 1-cost 20k double strike that kills something 4 or less. I mean, you couldn't really ask for a better card. That's really, honestly amazing. He's an MVP of the deck. I play him every single time I can. 20k double strike is always a threat. He's a unison killer as well because he's already at 20k and he's double strike, so he can just beat the absolute crap out of unison. Secret rare of choice, the Scramble secret rare. Like I said, once you get to turn 5, this is your kill turn. What you really want to do, if you can manage it, is do not awaken until turn 5. Swing with something, drop the secret rare, you know, tapping 5 for it, burn the 2, and then you can awaken, and that way you're not tapped out after you awaken. And then you can kind of you can either go in for game with Lead's double strike, you can go in with game for the Gogeta double strike, you can go in for game with anything else on the board. But either way, as long as your opponent doesn't have a negate, which you would know about because you have Sin Shenron on the board, hopefully, and you can look at your opponent's hand and tell if they have a negate or whatever. And if they don't have a negate, you pretty much just go in because the SF3 Scramble says if your opponent combos with anything 2 or less, you just take it out of the combo area. And that's an auto, not once per turn. You just keep doing that. So whenever they combo with anything 2 or less, you just rip it out. That's pretty much every super combo of the game. They just don't get to have. They're going to have to waste their bigger energy cards and tap energy for them and stuff like that. So really, really strong. And then my second secret rare of choice, Food Shroud and a Mystery. You do get to turn 6 in this deck pretty often. You will have 10 cards in your drop area. By then, you pretty much always have 10 cards in your drop area. That's the reason why I'm not playing the big Kaioken in this deck. You never get 20 cards in your drop area, but you can easily get 10. And then if you do get to turn 6, Food just ends game. So there's really no reason why not to play him. I love playing Food. So that's it for the deck. I will be having more deck profiles for you guys coming in the next few days. I'm going to be recording my team's deck profiles, and we're going to get into them, and then we're going to start posting more on this channel. So I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any suggestions for the deck or anything like that, let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.